Tính đến thời điểm hiện tại chắc em nghĩ em là người chơi tốt nhất đội.
Em là Dari và em là người chơi đi top đến từ Việt Nam.
Tôi là Vamun, tôi chơi ở vị trí đi rừng cho đội tuyển Việt Nam.
Tôi là BK, thi đấu đường giữa cho đội Việt Nam.
Mình là Analyst và mình đang thi đấu cho đội tuyển Việt Nam với vị trí xạ thủ.
Tôi là Hải Ba, tôi đang thi đấu vị trí hỗ trợ cho đội tuyển Việt Nam. Điểm mạnh chính của team em là thi đấu đoàn kết với nhau, thi đấu gắn kết với nhau.
Team của em đã thành lập được tầm khoảng 5 tháng.
Môi trường đi nghỉ khá là vui vẻ.
Sau những buổi luyện tập ra, chúng tôi còn đi ăn và đi chơi rất nhiều.
Tụi em chỉ vui đùa hay đi cùng nhau thôi. Còn lại tụi em dành nhiều thời gian cho việc nghỉ ngơi hơn. Bởi vì team em mỗi khi chen là đều giao tiếp lớn như vậy nên chắc thành thói quen rồi. Việc trao đổi thông tin của team em rất là ok, không có vấn đề gì.
Về vấn đề giao tiếp thì tụi em phải giao tiếp rõ ràng và phải giao tiếp thì mới giành chiến thắng được.
Điểm mạnh của team em là các lane có thể hỗ trợ cho rừng và sau khi đủ thì rừng sẽ hỗ trợ lại cho lane.
Phong cách chơi đường giữa của tụi em là đánh chủ động và đánh 2v2 với đối phương.
Chiến thuật của cái đội là cứ đẩy lên và kiểm soát để cho rừng qua cúp rừng của họ và tạo lợi thế cho team.
Còn em nói farm mà chờ team gánh nè. Em thích rất nhiều vị tướng và vị tướng nào em cũng có thể chơi tốt.
Giải sĩ là vị tướng em yêu thích nhất và đó cũng là con mà em đánh rất nhiều trong cái giải đấu này.
Vị tướng yêu thích của em là Kindred. Em chơi nhiều trừ khi nào mà đối thủ lấy hoặc là bị cấm đi thôi, là còn luôn luôn lấy.
Tôi rất thích chạy vị tướng Anivia và tôi định đem nó vào vòng bán kết và chung kết. Em nghĩ chiến thắng, nếu mà mình chiến thắng được cái giải đấu này thì bọn em có thể tiến xa hơn và có thể có nhiều cơ hội để cọ sát với những cái giải đấu lớn hơn. Điều mà em muốn tỏ là thể hiện bản thân của mình có tiến bộ đến đâu.
Muốn khẳng định là Việt Nam là khu vực mạnh nhất Đông Nam Á. Điều mà em và cả team muốn chứng tỏ lại tại giải đấu lần này là muốn khẳng định Việt Nam là khu vực mạnh nhất Đông Nam Á.
Chúng em muốn thử sức mình về giải đấu này và chúng em muốn giành chức vô địch tại giải đấu này.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hyperplay live at the Singapore Indoor Stadium. After a win in Game 1, Vietnam is just a smashed nexus away from advancing to tomorrow's Grand Finals. And Kobe, they did it in style.
Well, they definitely smashed that one very quickly, just over 25 minutes into the game. Constant pressure in all of their lanes, even trying to take multiple 4v5 or 3v4 team fights and coming out ahead in a lot of these outplay situations.
I have to see kind of how it comes out because Singapore, I think, need to respond a little faster to these situations. What they were trying to do made a lot of sense. Their team play when they were together was good, but Vietnam are just playing at a speed above almost any other team in the tournament.
I want to see Yon on a carry and see if they can actually have more dueling potential and get that going a little bit earlier for themselves. Like they said on the Analyst test, I thought the bottom lane actually was performing very well until they got ganked and kind of turned everything around for themselves. So we'll see if they can have a bit more of an even keel this time around, or if Vietnam will still come out and look to take this one 2-0.
We'll see how it all works out. Like we said, Vietnam, the tournament favorites, moving in here to the top 4 and looking pretty good after that exchange. But Singapore, of course, are the home crowd. There's lots of regional pride in this event. Southeast Asia is one of the oldest regions if you combine them all together as far as competitive League of Legends goes. So the home crowd here obviously is going to be cheering for their team. And Vietnamese very proud, of course, and a lot of success in League of Legends. Would love to take home basically a big international Southeast Asian title back home to Vietnam.
Definitely true. I mean, if we go over some of their stats just for this tournament, part of the reason why people are talking them up as the tournament favorites, they have not dropped a single game here. Throughout group stage, they didn't even have to play in the King of the Hill. They had by far, the biggest gold leads at all stages in the game. And they've done a good job of securing those gold leads into victories. We'll see if they can finish up this setup here on stage before we get into game number 2 and see if Singapore can force it to a game number 3 and try and make a comeback here.
I'm going to be happy if we get maximum games this all tournament long, Kobe. So again, I have no horse in this race. I just want to see more great League of Legends. It has been so much fun here at Hyperplay already. And we have another day coming up tomorrow, plus more music, Kobe.
Yep, CL coming up right after this. I'm sure everybody's very excited for that one. But again, here we go. Game number 2, Singapore versus Vietnam. Anivia already target banned here. So making some quick changes here is Singapore. 2 of the champions they were just defeated with. You have to be careful though. If you start banning just what they used before, then you leave things like Kindred available. As Borman said, that's actually his favorite champion and would early pick that in the current state of the game. Definitely one of the strongest meta junglers. So you have to be a bit careful.
Yeah, I think so as well, but I don't mind these 2 bans here. Looks like pretty standard stuff on the other side there for Vietnam, banning away Swain and Aatrox. So I think you're on the money with Kindred. Talia, though, actually going to get the ban here. Was banned on red side by Singapore, I believe, in last game. So clearly aware of the power of the champion.
Yeah, he had a very good Talia game earlier on in the tournament. 10.5 KDA in a smashing victory that they were able to gain. So another, well-used ban. But again, the Vietnamese players have very deep champion pools. So you have to give and trade here. Morgana will be the first pick. Black Shield, once again, binding 4 lane opportunities this time around as well.
Well, looks like Pyke is the other ban, so continuing to respect from that one, but Vorman appears to be pretty true to his word.
That's what he said. He told you in the video, if there's Kindred available, I am going to pick this champion. So there we go. First pick for Vietnam. He'll be super happy to have that one, and Mature once again. Jace as well. I mean, again, they stated in the videos they're all their favorite champions. They're picking 2 of them here right off the bat. We get what we wanted, Pastry. It is Yone on the Yasuo, signature champion. He said he wanted to be known for his Yasuo play, carry play from the top side of the map, and Eternal's on Xin Zhao as well. So there's an aggressive jungler to work with. It looks like Singapore are going to take the challenge, and they want that early action.
I mean, you kind of have to. It's certainly tough against such a formidable opponent, but I love that the gauntlet's being thrown next to, you know what, get the one out of there. Let's play aggressive. Ooh, Puppy K. Last minute swap to Malzahar, champion we don't see too often, but still pretty solid there in mid lane.
Yeah, one of his fallback champions for the mid lane. You have very reliable CC that he can use later on to set up his teammates, of course, with the ultimate being that targeted suppression. And early on in the lane phase is going to be a little bit weaker for him, as Malzahar early on just trying to push out some of the minions and utilize Malefic Visions to try and bounce around.
There's Rumble and Ornn banned away by Vietnam, so taking away some other options. Maybe worrying that Ari Kalik is actually flexing the mid lane there with the Yasuo and Alistar. I really like that ban actually by Singapore and Shen. We didn't see it last time, but certainly a very solid champion in support.
Yeah, Singapore recognizing the playmaking abilities here from High 3. He was all over the place. As soon as they let him out of lane as well, not just waiting in the brush and going for those Hex flashes on Alistar, but he was also roaming mid quite often this time around as well. You mentioned the Malzahar, and that has been Puppy K's second most successful champion in the tournament. Again, double-digit KDAs for him as well. But what will it be for Singapore as they have to lock in the mid lane as well as the bottom lane carries to round out the rest of their damage?
Vietnam just flashed Lulu. Nothing too crazy there. There's Galio locked in, presumably for Ari Kalik in the mid lane. Also very nice with the Yasuo they've drafted already. And looks like they'll just need a bot laner to round things out here.
And Galio, very, very big pick here as far as answering a lot of the tempo from Vietnam. If Vietnam are going to continue to force plays across the map, having that global or semi-global ultimate from Galio to try and join those skirmishes could be huge, in counterplay. On the bottom side, once again, though, Lucian is locked in. It's going to be Lucian Morgana this time around. Looks like for Singapore. Meanwhile, Vietnam going to have to take something else. Artemis won't get another hand at the Lucian. Triple killing people under turrets. You only get to do that one time a series.
Probably a good thing, too. So I like to steal away there from Quake. Looks like Xayah, though, is the counter pick, actually leaving Artemis the option of matchup there. Could have also taken a Lucian, but decided that, you know what? Confident enough in his ability, wants to counter pick the lane and maybe be the ones to be a bit more aggressive here in their 2v2 because they were pushed in a little in the game, in the first game.
All right, let's see if they can switch this one around. Swaps have come through. It looks like double teleports for Vietnam that might aid them in pushing out those lanes and keeping tempo. Meanwhile, though, Galio with Ignite in mid lane. Ari Kellic, their star player, and Eternal has options here. He can camp around top and mid lane. You probably want to split the map here, play off the top triangle of the jungle for Singapore to try and get those carries rolling, and just have the bottom lane play a little bit safer and allow them some time to get the carries fed.
Curious about the kind of jungle matchup as well, because we've kind of flipped it around. Vorman, he's going to be more on the farming this time around, wants to make sure he keeps track of the camps. And if Eternal wants to just go chain ganking, this is the champion to do it on.
Yeah, and he should also be looking to deny a lot of the Kindred marks early on. Kindred, while it's a super powerful champion right now and has had a lot of buffs, if you don't get to stack up your marks, if Xin Zhao is able to get on you early in the game, he will get the kill. Kindred doesn't have a lot of escape patterns versus Xin, especially if Kindred walks into brush a little bit too aggressively. If he's invading the enemy jungle blind, Xin Zhao is definitely a champion that you can punish that with. So you have to be a little bit more safe with your route early on Kindred when you're faced with an all-in melee champion such as this.
Well, looks like teams are loading themselves onto Summoner's Rift for their second bout in this series. Have to see if Singapore can win in front of the locals here, pick themselves up a win and force another third game here in the semifinals. Or if Vietnam are going to sweep it through. And given the time they did it in last time, could be a quick one, but we'll have to find out as Yon. I love that, again, Singapore is kind of saying, you know what, give us our comfort picks, give us what we know, give us what we want to prove ourselves with here on this stage. We'll see if it's enough to take down a very formidable opponent. Action started already. Puppy K, a little bit of damage there onto Rapier.
Yep, gonna fight him right out of the river. Looks like they also had a little defensive vision. All right, Kellic having some fun. He's ready for it. Round number 2 here.
Yon was dancing last game. I'm loving some of the gusto here from the Singaporean players. All right, Kellic still going on with the routine. Not sure it's quite the CL we're going to see after this.
I mean, this Singapore team has dealt with some adversity already in this tournament. They talked about it a little bit in their video package, losing those 2 games early on. They're still able to come back and make their way here to the semifinals. Now very excited, try and prove themselves once again on stage. They have another chance to do it here. Vormund going to start out on the red buff, and there is a little bit of vision as well for both sides, knowing that both junglers will start this red. So Xin Zhao, whenever you do have that little bit of extra vision, you want to go try and cut off the options for Kindred. We may see him rotate up to the top scuttle first and take his chances there, because, again, level 2 especially, Xin very, very threatening. Just has to charge on top of you and going to have to keep that fight up. Meanwhile, though, Vormund, you can see, he's walking down to the bottom side and even using his bottom lane to help him secure priority over the scuttle. What a nice bottom lane, and a bit of team play there just in case there is any sort of enemy action. Unlucky for him, though, that the mark spawns on the top scuttle crab, so Eternal should get over there and pick that one up quick.
Yeah, just sweep out the water. I think Vormund's going to know this, so using his own marks to predict the enemy jungler, which is something that's kind of interesting. And he's going to take the Raptor camp away. Eternal buff to buff, now onto the crab to deny the bounty.
Meanwhile, the top lane there, what we're all excited to see, Yon on his Yasuo versus the Jace of Mature right now, going pretty evenly. And since they know that Xin Zhao has control of the top quadrant of this map, they have to be a bit more careful. He could go for a wraparound gank through the enemy jungle, as you can see he's doing right now, and he did hit level 3 for those 3 camps and scuttle, and he's actually going to go in right behind the Jace.
Yeah, Eternal here with a good wraparound, Mature with a hammer plus a flash out of there.
Summoner blown, and that is going to be the first flash blown of this game. Maybe there'll be a repeat gank. Going to have to play a little bit more carefully on that Jace. Buys a lot of time for the Yasuo in the lane on the top side. He can play more aggressively, get his minions early on. You want to start, building with the crit build, I would assume, here for him to try and get it early on. We have seen a lot of Yasuo players also go some bruiser options. Blade of the Ruin King, Frozen Mallet have been options. But we really do like to see Phantom Dancer Infinity Edge for big crits, maximum damage. Eternal, gonna make another pass.
That's the expectation.
Whoa.
Eternal flashes in, Puppy K insta-flashes over the wall. But Eternal, I like his style today.
Okay, that is 2 flashes blown from both solo laners early on. Actually, top side, there is a fight going on as he chases Jace out of the lane. Jace here tried to go offensive as soon as they saw Zin's out in mid lane, but Young gives as good as he got right there and chases him back.
Quick also taking some harass here in the bot side, thanks to High 3 and those Glitter Lances. But you a little low on mana as well. You're going to have to be pretty careful. Already TP'd back with a longsword, but he lost the last trade. Young's going to have a pretty big buy advantage when he does go back.
Yeah, I mean, he said himself he wants to be known within Southeast Asia for Yasuo and his carry style top lane play. This is his chance to shine. Meanwhile, bottom side here, pretty good exchange. Control of the minion wave does go over to Vietnam once again though, and Artemis continuing to push in this lane while Quake dodges out these glitter lances from high.
Yeah, it's been pretty back and forth actually here as Eternal trying to bait perhaps here by sneaking into the lane.
He's very well aware that you know, Yasuo draws a lot of attention, and especially if Yasuo is bullying, and he's a possibility for a gank. We will see if Vormund walks into this. Eternal is only level 3 on Xin, but he has been able to at least upgrade his smite to the challenging smite. He's just waiting around right now for a possible counter gank, or if Jace goes all in, could quickly deal with him. No flash, remember.
Yep, Eternal gonna go in. Mature, oh, great knockback there. Does pretty call off that gank pretty quickly.
Yeah, Yon not close enough to the minions to actually capitalize there. And go for it early. You don't want to waste too much time waiting around in brush lest you fall even further behind in experience. So now they do have a little bit of an invade as well. Eternal goes through the red side, does pop the plant so they know he's there. Vormund, meanwhile, eyes on the second Kindred mark.
Yep, is able to get bouncy number 1 as Eternal another wraparound gank here in mid. Arcalic flash taunt, finds one there, so knock up. Eternal looking for it, first blood on the table. Puppy K running away, but it's not enough.
Oh, now he's got his eyes on Vormund, actually finds him here around the bend.
High 3 though roaming up, does shield his jungler, and Eternal with a nice bit of aggression has been very persistent in these lanes, but it does pay off.
Definitely does. In the mid lane here, Arika knows there's no flash on Puppy K, so he goes right in with the taunt afterwards. Knew that the Malzahar shield already popped there, so he's able to secure this gank and the first blood for his jungler. We'll see if Xin Sao can go purchase some damage after this and put a little bit more threat down. Cannon minion is going to get killed off by the range minions for Yon.
You hate to see it happen.
Yeah, that's definitely a painful one, but Infernal Drake, that will feel pretty nice.
Yeah, Vietnam have played, again, pretty high tempo here, using this bot side advantage. We know that Eternal's backing off, but Vietnam is confident in the presence they have on the map right now. Vormund, despite not getting too much going as far as kills go, is pressuring the map nicely and farming up a storm.
Plus, we're entering the phase here where people are getting their ultimates unlocked. Level 6s coming through. Ari Kellic on the Gallia. One of the big things why people are talking up this pick for him is his possibility to help out the other lanes. He can use that ultimate towards top side if there is a big skirmish. They go for an all-in. There are multiple ways for him on Galio to, you know, trigger knockups to allow Yasuo ultimate to combine for some solo lane power. Meanwhile, Puppy K on the Malzahar will be able to land the suppression if he decides to get a little bit more assistance as well from his jungler.
Yeah, I kind of like what's going on for both mid laners because that's Predator Malz, which I didn't notice as we loaded in. But here comes Eternal onto Artemis. Good ult there to try and disengage. Does get the root down, might even turn it back around. Flash forward Artemis. He's just so aggressive and he's going to do it again, or at least he's going to try. There's Arcalic moving in now. Artemis has to get out of the way with no flash. High 3 will be the sacrifice and does go down. But a feather snipe through the wall found the support.
Artemis has actually been insane this series so far. He's able to walk around and find the kill onto Morgana just over the wall. Ari Kellic doing his best here to save the bottom side and turn it around. They do corner the Lulu kill and get red buff back, but still, that's 2 kills over to Vietnam. Gold is tied dead even here, though.
Extremely dangerous for Quick, especially to be running around, because that's Malzahar still ready with ultimate. Thankfully for him, there isn't a flash up right now. Otherwise, I think someone else would have already died.
Oh, chasing him down the river.
Young looking for the 1v1 kill left, despite knife, but Eternal gonna maybe try and knock them out of the way. He's gonna wear off now. Young getting low, but Eternal does manage to grab the kill. Young gonna live as well, as Vormund now gonna get chased down. No ult. There's Ari Kellic as well. Gonna try and line things up. Vormund dancing around. Great flash into the red pit. He's gonna keep him out.
Oh, another kill here for Eternal on the Yasuo. Gonna be much needed. or for the Xin Zhao, going to be much needed for him to try and get to his jungle item much quicker here. Meanwhile, that all started because Yon on Yasuo, 2 levels up on Mature's Jace, chases him out of the lane, down the river, forcing the Kindred ultimate.
Early pick paying off here as Singapore invest in their top laner, but let's watch this bot again. Artemis is unafraid.
Yeah, so this is the duo outplay here. Eternal goes in on the Xin Zhao, gets rooted up by the call back here. Artemis also flashes forward to get a lot of damage on a Rapier, but once the Galio ultimate comes in, they have to scramble. And so Singapore, they're thinking they just corner up the Lulu kill right there. So much unexpected damage actually coming with the second plate hitting. And Artemis was able to find 2. A lot of damage onto the turret afterwards as well. And this is first turret bonus gold still available.
Yeah, on the table for both teams here. The bot lane, kind of the only turret really to take a beating so far.
Pretty exciting how the map is split here. Top side in the favor of Singapore with the Yasuo pick. Yon on his carry champion. Meanwhile, bottom side for Vietnam. Artemis looking very good on the Xayah. Early outplays already and a lot of tower damage as well. So it's going to be about which team can play to their carry better. And this is going to be very interesting. Predator for Malzahar is ready for him to roam, but also Galio Ultimate can get down there very quickly.
Yep, not too far away from that cooldown being back up there for the Galio. So certainly looking for mid laners to push and roam. We'll see where the teams do want to set up their plays. As Arakalik has returned with blue buff. But of course it's Puppy K's time to roam, but nice ward there. He's going to spot him. Hasn't been swept out just yet. Oh,
Shield is down.
Must know it's there now. Arakalik though, just able to slap down these Voidlings. Doesn't take too much damage.
Yeah, actually, going to be a bit careful here, as Vorman did show. He loads control ward a little bit into Singapore's vision, and he's going to have to escape. That gave the inside route on mid lane over to Singapore as they push the minions up.
Yeah, Puppy K has been left pretty alone here in the mid lane. Doing a nice job again, just farming out, moving on to the lanes and trying to get stuff done, but
the life of Malzahar. Farming up early on in the game. He does have Predator for later, so activate that and then just go in with your ultimate is going to be the main objective. Everybody coming to him now, actually.
Yep, here comes the squad. Trying to, again, get the inside track. Still first turret gold on the table.
Are they going to flank around here? It looks like 3 members from Singapore want to take the fight.
TP in as well. Eternal looking for it. There's the Galio combo for the over Malzahar. Might shut it down. Yono does get the knock-off there with the last breath. With the Lazarus spike.
Oh!
May have saved everyone. Vietnam going to keep cutting it out. But 2 are low, but still not dead. Yono able to get the first kill under Puppy K. So important. Yon gets himself a double kill. Singapore is coming alive as they win the team fight versus Vietnam.
4 kills over to Singapore as they're able to utilize the Galio ultimate on top of Eternal. And the top side of the map brings their full power to Brunt in mid lane with the team fight, taking the tower afterwards and getting the first turret bonus.
This is the tenacity we wanted to see from the Singaporean side, willing to fight back here in the early stages versus Vietnam, and Yon's Yasuo is living up to the reputation he is trying to carve out for it. Singapore now in onto the Rift Tower. They'll get another objective after already taking the outer turret in mid and getting the bonus gold.
What a great feeling for Yon on his signature champion. Being able to have such a huge early game for the squad. Let's take another look at it. Even though the teleport comes in for Vietnam and everyone arrives, you can see Singapore were committed to this game plan. They charge in, and because the Lambster spike goes down, no kill for them onto Eternal on the Yasuo, and Singapore actually utilized that Lambster spike very well themselves. Everyone getting the heals, and it is afterwards a huge wash as they clean up 4 kills onto the Vietnamese side. Now with a big gold lead here for Singapore in game number 2. They're looking to turn this series around, force number 3, and strike back. Again, another Infernal Drake is onto the field, though. We may have some more action. Pace your time.
Yeah, Vietnam already out. All good binding. Clips the feet there of Artemis. Crab also over to Eternal. Does win the smite for it.
Predator used.
Vorman chasing down. Taunt is really nicely timed, but still the suppress might be enough, and it's Vorman. He's going to go down. They do manage to get it, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as Artemis will find the shutdown. Eternal dives in, pops the ult, but Artemis is going to get away with the flash. High 3, though, will be the sacrifice. Singapore winning yet another fight. And Quake, he wants to get more. He's going to throw the culling out. He does poke down the carries.
Yeah, they should get right back to that Infernal Drake and try and claim the objective afterwards. They earn the prize. Actually, they're going to push up mid lane. They want another turret. Activating Rift Herald bottom. They might get 2 turrets in the same push.
Maybe think they can get the objective after all of this happens. Still, Vietnam being pushed very far back. PBK is still low. They have to stay to try and wave you, but it's so dangerous. Artemis again looking to poke in.
Uh-oh. A lot of damage sustained there by Eternal under the tower. Since they went for the tower push instead of securing Infernal Drake, they might not be able to get it at all. Vietnam have a reset. They're back out on the map. And Rift Herald taking bottom turret for them is going to be some money, but a lot of wards there as far as the Infernal Drake goes. Will be seen by both sides.
Yeah, Shelly's solo effort, unfortunately, doesn't leave her that much of a threat, although she is actually moving in towards the next turret.
Can she get off the charge?
Will answer it. Pretty important if she does. She does do so. Oh, barely dies.
All right, we have a full reset then. Both teams will be back out in time for the next possible dragon fight. Remember, there are no teleports for the top laners available, so Yone and Mature would have to walk down here. And again, this is a 2-level lead for the Yasuo. He is going the offensive build with the Phantom Dancer first. Now he's actually got the Phage as well for some move speed. And he, after the recall, looks to be joining the rest of the team, coming over to the Drake if they need him. Otherwise, he can head right back up to the top side and get the minions. Looks like they can secure it.
Yep, Singapore do a good job. They keep aggression around the objective. Eternal even just trying to ward Artemis away as the rest of his team takes the Drake.
Have to say, it was also very good Galio play by Ari Kellic to set this one up. He's now got 5 stacks on his Dark Seal, and he got early on into the game. You can see he was able to get off the Galio taunt early on before he got picked off, and that allowed him to tank up a lot of extra damage with those resistances, setting up the rest of his team to get some more kills and then control. Here we go, though. Yone wants to take his 1v1.
Oh, I think he's got it. Flashes in, wants a solo kill. Is going to grab it. Doesn't even need the ult. He used it already. Such stylish play.
Yasuo, hero of Singapore. Yone is able to get the solo kill. Now he's going to take some of this tower down. He's drawing more members of Vietnam up to this side of the map.
We talked about it. Comfort picks pretty much gifted over here by Vietnam in this game, and Singapore are making them pay. Foreman, though, up to the top side, does defend it, but here's the play starting again.
Eternal's gone in there on the Yasuo.
Oh, PBK already dead. No, he flashes out of the taunt. Artemis somehow gets the kill into Eternal, but Ari Kelly going to try and make it happen. There's the taunt, but he's got a flash, does not commit it. As Foreman now poking out of the Galio. A lot of damage here. Foreman's going to commit. He may be too far forward as Rapier does get the soul shackles down. Artemis again somehow lives despite a sliver of health or two only remaining. And in that chaos, somehow nobody dies.
Huge, huge outplay there. Oh! Ari Kellic gets the kill onto Artemis, and that is huge. The DPS is down for Vietnam, and now it is Singapore looking to finish the job on this turret.
The only man positive KDA right now on the Vietnamese squad. A huge pickup by Ari Kellic with a Galio snipe. They take down the turret as well. They have felled the outer ring. They are doing what Vietnam do to most teams, get gold leads and snowball games.
Vietnam have not lost a game here at Hyperplay yet, but Singapore are looking to take the first one as they do have a lead. Foreman's not done though. He's going to go take those Krugs as we head into the replay. And this was how Yone started it all off himself. He lands the Q with the knock-up, taking his ultimate. As soon as that one hits, he knows he's flashing in, conquers procs, getting the true damage, and the solo kill.
Straightforward stuff there. What a great tornado led towards Mature, who's now 0-3 and still facing down all this pressure. I'm going to go bot side now, and wherever he is, Vietnam cannot send one person safely.
Yeah, he's going to feel very powerful as far as the split push goes as well, and this opens up a lot of pathways for Singapore to try and press their advantage in this game and look for the win. What you want to do, group up with the rest of the squad. They have a Morgana and Galio to keep yourself safe, and then you just have a Yasuo split pushing there on the side wave. Nobody can really answer him 1v1 at the moment, so they would have to send multiple people, and if they do that, Galio can answer. They can buy some time for the rest of them to join.
And it's nice to think again, you can start to feel as Singapore wins some fights, get an advantage. Crowd's starting to feel it a little bit more, that sixth man rallying behind the team. And again, if they win this game, given the beating they received in game one, momentum shifts aggressively in series like this.
Yeah, Vietnam cannot be underestimated though. They have proven time and time again, comebacks are possible. They are very dangerous even when down like this. Remember, Puppy K does have a very easy setup to the fight with the Predator. He can proc that, try and catch someone if they are out of position. Right now, though, Singapore doing a good job moving into the jungle, taking down some of the Vietnamese vision, and opening up some control around Baron that will arrive in just over a minute.
I think, again, have to highlight Artemis here. 4-2-1, moving pretty quickly towards item number 2 with the Storm Razor already finished. Even in these exchanges, he is getting awfully close to hard-carrying team fights, and that's only going to get scarier as the game extends. So have to agree, despite a very healthy gold lead for Singapore of 5,000, Vietnam cannot be underestimated, and they need to pin down that carry. Again, good amount of poke.
They got it.
They actually almost take it down. They will get Kindra's ulti.
That's a huge cooldown here for the team fight. A lot of poke coming through as well. Suppression used.
Yep, in the front side there, but Ari Kelly looking to try and make the play happen. Bowman going to be the target, but he gets Wildcraft in with a Lulu. Now Mature diving back in, trying to get a pick up, but he knocks the support out of the way. Vietnam defending very, very aggressively under their turrets.
Definitely a close one there. A lot of low health parts afterwards, and there is
Oh,
vision!
finds the snipe. Quake down. Second marksman to get taken down.
You could tell by the movement there, Ari Kelly thought that they had vision, and he was trying to protect Lucian from getting the shock blast there, but Quake tries to get off the slightly greedy recall there. He does pay for it, and that is a kill going over to Vietnam this time after they're the ones to get the snipe.
Good amount of gold to get here. Does lower the lead that Singapore have by just a bit. Mature also finally gets his first kill, I just noticed. So going to be feeling a bit better as he scoops down the bot wave.
Yeah, it definitely has been a rough game for him trying to deal with Yon on the Yasuo on top side. But again, Vietnam, their power play has been bottom of the map this entire time. Artemis on the Xayah here is the Fed member for the team. He's the one that they're looking at to carry them to the late game and try and make that comeback and make up this 5,000 gold lead that Singapore have been able to build up.
Another Drake in 25 seconds, but Vietnam know that they're still woefully behind in turrets. So maybe hoping for a pick and then can convert onto a turret. They would love to pick up some of that extra gold that's sort of standing there for them to take.
Yep,
Singapore have done a good job defending.
Dragon is about to come up with the top lane there. 2 members of Vietnam showing. They're committing that, yes, this Dragon is totally gone, so we're going to try and make a dive here onto Ari Kelly.
Yep, does get the first taunt over. Actually, really nice on a Vorman, who may be forced to pop the ulti. No, Ari Kelly, this takes him down. He didn't have it.
Ari Kelly, he's the one this time around for the 3v1 outplay under turret, and it's his name in lights.
Looking good so far, and actually the chase is going to continue. Unfortunately, Singapore can't cut off the 2 very low health members of the Vietnamese duo lane. But again, starting to get some of that confidence back on these comfort champions. Everyone's starting to go off on the Singaporean side. Yon again, in on to Mature. Mature, what can he even do? He's got the flash, he will use it. Yon, oh, he tried it. He wanted to be such a hero the way.
Minions, he can go through, keep up the chase.
Timing not quite there, unfortunately. But he is blitzing through these waves. Willing to burn flash just to try and get yet another solo kill and collect all that glory.
All right, the Dragon still stands after all of that, so Cloud Drake will be started up by Yon. He should be able to get that one as he's already forced Mature back to base, and this will be another objective for Singapore. Meanwhile, Vietnam trying to move back out to the top side of the map. They weren't able to finish off before, so it looks like they might actually even go for the deep Kindred mark that was taken away. A lot of vision on Baron 2. They start to clear out these control wards.
Looks like maybe Yon is going to try and bait someone down here, as Ari Kelly is right side right now.
Only a couple hits left on this turret. They brought plenty of people, and they will be able to finally secure it.
Yep, again, the pressure still continues though in the bot side from Yon, but he might have to back off given the state of his health bar. Vietnam finally answering back some of these structures, but still a lot of work to get done here to try and even out the game.
Yeah, it looks like a completely different game this time around as Singapore yet again move in. Another turret goes down, and they get to move into the red quadrant of the Vietnamese jungle here, setting up around Baron. There's a lot of vision that's just been laid down, so they're going to have to clear this out.
Starting to get to a very tense moment in this game, though. Team is starting to flirt a little bit more around Baron, clear out that vision, threaten that. Singapore still with their map advantage should be better in this situation, but Vietnam, they really know how to play all these situations well.
Again, they're going to have their hands full, though. Yon has completed the Sterix gauge for Yasuo here. a massive 1v1 threat, and he has so much extra move speed in the build as well. With the early phage that he completed, as well as the Phantom Dancer, that gives him a lot of potential for chasing down kills if anyone comes to fight him in the side lane. So Singapore can continue to have him push out a side lane and then utilize the threat of a Galio ultimate. Actually, they're going all in.
Yep, Galio ult goes in. They're going to try and knock up, but Vorman does get the flash out of the way just in time.
Going to be huge for him. Does hold on to the cooldown for the ultimate. Vietnam know they have to be able to fight the next 5-on-5 here. Flash will be down for it though.
Getting very aggressive onto the Baron. Mature can TP in, but they need vision first and foremost.
Yeah, they don't have any. It's 8,000 health. They're pushing mid lane instead.
Trying to get a kill. Ari Kellic again setting up the play. Almost takes down High 3.
And Vietnam, with the feint towards mid lane, they actually force them off of Baron and get a turret for themselves.
Mature TP'd over here though. He's 1v5 territory right now. Vietnam trying to play the macro game, shoving down mid.
Looks like Artemis once again making the call. He goes to rush down a second turret. Will they be able to catch
Ari
up?
Kellic, 3-man taunt. That could be good with the lamp despite maybe keeping alive Artemis. They need to get the carry alive. Oh no! Suppressor to the front side. Artemis, he's popping up. He got a triple. He's maybe going to make it 4. Yondo trying to save it. Finds the last breath. Gets it done. Finds a triple kill. Does die to Vorman. Oh my god, a 9-kill team fight.
Whoa, that one pulled back from the brink of destruction. It looked like Vietnam were almost about to take the game-winning team fight here, but Yon gets 3 kills back on Yasuo. In the end, though, what great shot calling here from Vietnam. Artemis, he runs straight down mid lane. He takes turret number 1. Then, after they've pulled them off of Baron, they group up again as 4, take down turret number 2, and this is going to be number 3 all in one push.
And just like that, Kobe, the game is even.
Vietnam have come back and shown their resilience yet again. This is such a hard team to take down. Really nicely played there through the mid game, even with the gold disadvantage. We'll see if they can transition. Now it is an Infinity Edge completed for Artemis, and this guy has definitely been a huge carry for Vietnam and the star of this game for sure.
Well, it was a tough back and forth. Yon's first death was a well-earned one. Did a lot, extracted a lot of value out of that, but again, still Baron stayed alive. We had a big team fight. Let's shove down some turrets. Vietnam playing the map smart, but Singapore know they just want to force him into a team fight. They feel they can win these 5v5s.
If they're able to get an engage here where Eternal on Yasuo jumps in, gets the slow on someone without flash, and they can combine that with the Galio ultimate to actually lock someone down, that's how they want to start this one out. Yon definitely a huge power point. He has to be with the rest of the team to be able to Yasuo ultimate off of that knockup if they want to get the win. Otherwise, Artemis has been insane on this Xayah. So it's a tale of 2 carries here. Yasuo versus Xayah.
See how they can kind of navigate the win wall as well. There's a lot to think about here. These complex and chaotic team fights. Yon though just putting things up, staying safe. Can't see enough of Vietnam, so doesn't want to face check 3 potential people.
Couple of big completions coming in too, and now it's going to be more about this vision setup. Who can get the initiation? If you go down the list for flashes, right now, there are no summoner spells for Artemis on the Xayah. So if he's targeted out by Singapore early on, they can use that momentum to try and take the team fight. But again, Vietnam have done such a good job fighting their way back into this one, evening up the gold, putting themselves into a position to make the comeback complete.
Trying not to rush too much either. Really just baiting the Baron for a long time and hoping Vietnam face check in a silly spot, but Vietnam are doing their due diligence. Once again, gonna move the minions down to the
Predator.
exposed inhibitor now. That was a lot of damage from Puppy K just with a single Q, I believe. Colonel wants to threaten. He's got the black shield on. The Galio's going to go in. The last breath is massive. They take down High 3. Artemis still cutting out of the way with the last breath. The last breath, sorry. Maybe going to keep him alive. They need to kill him. They need to get him.
Oh,
They've got
they did
it. Singapore. I think they've done it. That's the ace.
And they've done it. The dream initiation for Singapore is pulled off.
Delayed ace. Let's call it. Puppy K still alive, but I don't think for very much longer. He snuck out the back way to try and let somebody live on the team, but Ari Kellic is not having it.
There is flash still left on Puppy K if he wants to try and use it to
Hold
delay.
it. Goodbye. There's the ace.
Ari Kellic chases down the last kill. Singapore will take the Baron, and now they've got purple buff to push with afterwards here. What a huge initiation. That was the dream initiation we talked about. Eternal on this int out, gets into favorable position right next to both carries. Immediately the Galio ultimate into Yasuo ultimate comes down. Look at all these members grouped up. Eternal sees it, he jumps in onto Vormund next to Artemis, and there is the combination. Galio into Yasuo, they get a huge health advantage even with the Lamb's Respite used. Yone keeps up the DPS, he channels his second knock up there to finish them right after they get off of it. And now let's see what they can do with this advantage. Pick up the Infernal Drake already while we were in the replay. That's Infernal Drake number 2 for Singapore. And they've got mid lane and bottom lane here, all starting pushing.
And Yone didn't even have his Infinity Edge in that last fight, which he now has completed. So the threats here on the Singaporean side only getting stronger. Artemis again, he can be the one, the keystone in these team fights to win out. But they need to protect him. I think it's a very singular goal here for Singapore. Kill Artemis and you should win the team fight, and very soon when you find in the right spot, the game.
It's all about counting the cooldowns for flashes right now, because when there is a flash available for both the Kindred as well as the Xayah, it's so much more difficult to try and get the combination with the Galio and the Yasuo that we already saw. Right now, there are summoners back on these carries, but look at that huge poke damage actually went through. Artemis chunked down very low, and he has to go back to base.
Yeah, 3-item Galio building, basically all AP items with a bit of extra defensiveness from the zombies and the roll of Void Stuff also on the way, I assume, with that blasting one. So more than enough poke to get them off these turrets. Looks like another one will be taken down. Now equalizing after Vietnam had that great push down mid lane earlier.
Tower damage going to be taken here by Inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Artemis with red buff, trying to chase them off.
Equal tempo proc, but not able to really chase through. Vietnam doing a decent job defending, but they have to do this for a number of minutes.
Remember, this is the game that Singapore have to win in order to force a third game of this series. Vietnam, if they finish this, they will actually take the final spot. And right now, Artemis actually a huge chunk of damage onto Ari Kellic there on the Galio, which might put a stop to this Baron empowered push.
Vietnam want to protect their inhibitor turrets if they can. Artemis is not letting this game out of his claws. Rushing forward again, Yone trying to get some pushing done, but without extra pressure, he can't really do it on his own.
Oh, defensive.
Again, Artemis goes back in. Eternal going to try and dive in, but there's the ult. Artemis going forward. He's going to try and get the kill.
Oh!
Flashed on. Gets the kill under Artemis. It may have been a bait all along from Singapore. Vormund pops up the Lamb's Respite. And there's the last breath. Quake able to kill high 3, and Singapore still chasing forward.
Singapore have Baron buff though. They don't have to chase kills. They can go straight up mid lane with the Baron minions. Mature actually chasing Quake down and the rest of the minions. He wanted to cut them off.
Yeah, proxy attack 1v1. Quake gonna win it. No! Stopwatch from Mature might protect him, but Quake, he doesn't feel confident enough to go back in. Still mid lane, that's how we have to look. They're trying to take them down. Wait, what? Vormund took a turret in top lane?
They got the minions through in mid lane though for Singapore, so it doesn't even matter that the turret on top side went down. Ari Kellic gets another kill.
Ari Kellic gets the kill, and now they're gonna go straight down. They can only get the inhib though. Vormund was trying to run interference. Vietnam again in desperate situations with Artemis dead. Somehow keep their game alive.
Singapore channeling the energy from the crowd here, fighting their way back into this one. They've taken the first inhibitor, and they're pushing out the minions here, trying to reset off of this huge fight.
And we'll have to do the same, Kobe. Time to take a breath. There's still potentially one more game following this one, and this one is clearly not going to end quietly.
Definitely true. Flash available this time for Artemis. Let's take another look at how this one started out. He tried to take the 1v1 with Quake, but then Galio Ultimate and Xin Zhao coming through, and then Ari Kellic with the flash to get all 3 in his taunt. That was critical because during that taunt, Kindred cannot activate his ultimate. That's what allowed him to get that kill. And then with the delayed Kindred ultimate there, weren't even able to save. So huge, huge flash play there from Singapore's star player. And now they're back out onto the map, looking to finish this one. Super minions coming through the mid lane. Vietnam, though, they're trying to make a play here through the red quadrant of their jungle.
Yeah, no matter the situation, Vietnam are demonstrating that, you know what, we can still find a way into this game. Artemis with the last Whisper now finished is so strong.
Binding lands, though, and he takes 80% of his health from the Cullen.
Being pretty risky with his QSS as well. Has a way to get out of those situations pretty quickly. Also has his ulti, but saves his cooldowns. Maybe knows there's a big showdown coming.
Singapore takes this last outer turret remaining to them. A little bit more gold, but more importantly, the push continues. Ari Kellic on the Galio in the mid lane, trying to move those minions up while the rest of the squad applying pressure on top.
And this game is balanced so tenuously on the edge. As Vietnam continue to defend their base. Artemis does so much damage to these minions. Singapore have not yet found a way in to those Nexus turrets.
Here we go though, pings on the top side. Looks like they want to make that push. Ari Kellic on the Galio moves up the minions in mid lane, and they have to worry about that ultimate coming through. Binding does land.
Yeah, Rapier has been incredibly accurate this game on the Morgana, catching so many important targets as Quake does steal away the red buff from Vietnam's jungle. Singapore trying to keep up the pressure with Baron spawning in 50 seconds. Also Drake coming up as well.
This Guardian Angel was such a big pickup for Eternal on this ins out. He can charge in and be the one to set off this Galio ultimate, be able to revive with his GA afterwards. And the next team fight is a huge, huge important one, because the next one could determine multiple inhibitors going down and the real swing in power. Here we go though. Dragon about to spawn. It looks like we are having a reset to try and fight over this objective.
Singapore have done a good job playing up and pushing these lanes. But no need to take risks under the turret. They'll take the one inhib, and Yon once again going to take out this Dragon.
Mountain Drake just in time for Baron to come up here, and there's plenty of damage. So if you're a little bit slow getting vision off of Baron, they could easily take this one very quickly. Yon finishes off that one by himself. And he's actually going to go for the reset here as teleport's available. So they might try and bait Vietnam into the river.
Looking for maximum power, it has to seem like. Speaking of, Artemis is getting close. He's finished Lord Dominic's regards. One upgrade away from that QSS into a Mercurial from being at full power at this stage of the game. And again, Singapore know they have to shut him down in the next team fight. We've seen it already. He will carry a fight if left unchecked.
Yon and Ari Kellic have done such a good job here of taking him out. You can tell the focus from Singapore is in the right place. Ari Kellic now in mid lane, actually goes for the taunt onto Vorman, but not going to be able to catch him.
Almost has his sight, but not quite yet. Again, another nice Ultimate's in Germany. He didn't have the last breath. Yon can try and follow it up, but Vorman with the line just fight. He's going to stay alive still. Artemis, QSS is out. Wild Growth popped as well. Vorman is dead. I think Singapore may have found a way through it. Yon going to take down Puppy K, but Artemis, he's still fighting. He took down Ari Kellic.
And now it is 2 versus 4 as 4 members of Singapore still stand, but very low health bars here. They do retreat to Baron, and again, it's actually going to be Artemis versus the entire team here. He's got high at his back. Lulu going to try and buff him up, but Baron is already taken down.
Yeah, really nice, very fast Baron take there from Singapore. And Vietnam take the high ground here and decide not to pressure in.
What an intense re-engagement here. Again, this was with Artemis having flash. So first he uses the Xayah ultimate, gets back out. But you can see on the bottom side, Vorman's Kindred ultimate forced super early on by Yon and Eternal. And then Yon is able to take his Yasuo ultimate in to finish off Malzahar. But again, burst damage from Xayah comes back. The Blade Caller coming through and taking down Ari Kellic.
Had to be just out of range as well for that early last breath. Eternal may have gone just a touch too early. So we're going to kind of soft reset the map once again. Singapore still on the offensive, ready with the Baron buff. But what can they get done? They've got 4 Drakes, 2 of which are Infernals. Elder Dragon will be spawning in a couple minutes.
Both teams showing so much resilience in this game, fighting to the end. 37.5 minutes already, taking this one the distance. And now everybody capping out on items. Very few spots left. Few control wards have been placed down, but mostly it's about pushing up the minion waves. Baron buff is still in the favor of Singapore as they try and get it ready. You can see Ari Kellic on the top side pushing those minions while the rest of the squad here keeping Vietnam inside their base.
Artemis 6 slotted as well, so he is more than ready for the next engagement. And Singapore have not quite been able to poke their way into the base. Minion Hib is back up. Vietnam, though, are pretty staunchly defending it as they just shred down these minion waves. Again, Singapore are trying to time it with those 2 waves on the side. Artemis is just so brazen in his play, though.
He has to be in order to get them back into this one, because he's facing a very, very strong Yasuo in the side lane as well. Mid lane, they actually just rush up.
That binding was so close to hitting the Xayah. Artemis though, oh, good QSS there from Eternal. Oh, it's actually Black Shield, sorry, Rapier. Really clutch read there. Artemis though, gonna try and find it out. They get the in, but Artemis is still letting loose. That should be a kill. I think Eternal's dead. Yeah, he gets shut down. Artemis actually grabbed two. He actually found the support somehow on the blade caller. RK gonna try and get it done. This is bad news, Yon. He's gonna try and save the game by getting the in him and buying a bit more time for his team, but Artemis starts to go off.
What a huge play!
Oh my god, Yon! Catches him after the flash on a killing spree. Still alive as well. Artemis is not here. Yoon can continue pressure.
Yon inside of the base, not wanting to let this one slip away for Singapore, fighting his way out and get the recall. A huge play for Vietnam to make the stop inside of their base, but they lost 2 inhibitors, and Yon on the Yasuo is able to escape and get back to reset and defend his base.
All right, well, Artemis does push the wave in, but that's just going to force the recall out of the Yasuo. Artemis and High 3 keeping up their pressure, actually going to hide in a brush for a little bit, but looks like maybe going to channel the recall away.
Even with the kills going over to Vietnam, the 2 inhibitors taken down allow Singapore to now concentrate on the top side of the map. Let's take another look at it here. Malzahar ult was used, Black Shield, and Eternal's ultimate as well, but then when Eternal goes back in, Artemis immediately bursts him down, and they're able to finish up the kill. So then, numbers advantage over to their side since Morgana also got hit with that feather, and then Ari Kelek walks through the top side. So you think Vietnam, they've got 5 versus 2 advantage here, but Boardman goes way too far forward. Even though he flashes, Yon hits him with the knockup as he's on the way in, and then he's chased off on the bottom side.
Thankfully, the Thundering Blow did actually protect Matsui, who was about to be the next target of a Yoon heroic solo kill. It's 9-1 and 7 on the Yasuo. Again, almost 6 slaughter. These 2 guys have been battling back and forth this game, Kobe, but Singapore still on the offensive.
Yeah, Singapore has the super minions heading into the bottom side as well. Wind wall used here from Yon to actually buy themselves some time, and it does work here for a moment. If you look at the minions on bottom side of the map though, huge wave has been built up for Singapore. It's pushing in, and if they wait another 30 seconds, this one will get inside the base and allow them to continue this push on top side. Vietnam don't have a lot of time to work with.
Singapore are so close to taking down the Titans here at Hyperplay. Vietnam, they are making sure to make them wait every last structure before the game will end, and Artemis is still playing up. If he sees an opportunity, he is going to go.
Artemis has been so good throughout this game. Can he pull it out once again? Gets hit by the binding over the wall, but nobody's in range to capitalize on it.
Not a knock-up, thankfully, so he can't get the whole crew in there. Artemis still trying to wave quick here, but the turret's not that healthy. Redemption down, good win from Yo, but the suppress actually could be disaster. Artemis though, he's been taking down Singapore. They found the beast. And now they're going to keep rolling forward. The resurrection here. Rapier zoning up the other 2 on the bot side of the map. Taunt going to get charged up. That's a dead Jace as well. Make it 3-4-2. Singapore still fighting.
And all of the minions are doing so much work for them. Puppy K can't join to chase off the other members because he's trying to deal with all the minions on the Nexus turrets.
Might be time to go, but Vietnam again. C3 low movements of Singapore. Puppy K, I think, died to a dot that bounced around.
Another kill as they bounce some damage over to Rapier. And Vietnam have defended their Nexus turrets at least. They buy themselves some more time in this game. 42 minutes now.
Making them take every single structure as Quake starts to solo the Elder Dragon for Singapore.
All right, Quake gonna go over, trying to take this one himself. Remember, this is a 4 elemental dragon Singapore team that will be boosted up with the Elder Dragon buff now to try and finish out this game and even up the series 1-1. Vietnam still looking to finish it off 2-0 here, but it would require a huge defense once again. We do see them waiting for the Elder Dragon buff so that everyone respawns and can get it. Here's another look at the fight. Malzahar ultimate does go down onto Yon, so they stop the Yasuo, and they take Yasuo out at the beginning of the fight, which was huge for Vietnam, but again, they still have Singapore, 3 members diving in. They finish off the counter kill onto Artemis, and with that one down, no more damage to come through.
But unfortunately for Singapore, couldn't quite push through to take the rest of it here. As Artemis again getting aggressive.
Oh,
Eternal too far forward!
Oh, that's a huge mistake, and that might cost them a lot of precious pushing time. Right now, Vietnam are just trying to clear minions to allow their inhibitors to come back up. In Singapore, they really need every second they can work with. Baron comes up in 2 seconds.
And they're leaving Puppy K at this point to, I think, maybe solo defend the Nexus. Baron being started, Puppy K's got to deal with so much here.
All right, Yon, it is up to Yon here. The Yasuo play, will it come through? Ari Kellic actually finds the kill. Off screen onto Borman, they've killed the jungler.
He tried to sneak in, but Yon already started the Baron as well. Puppy K, will he TP in? In him starting to respawn, but the Baron is dead. Mature, can he find the shock blast? No, he gets knocked out. Last breath, that's gonna be a kill. Baron goes over. Galio in as well, gonna try and protect Yon. Artemis, he's getting shredded down. The ulti is there. He needs to try and fight it out. How did he get that kill?
Are you kidding me? On the backside, more kills go over.
Puppy K did actually TP in and get the kill in onto Rapier. Artemis alive. He's the only one next to Mature that's alive, but it's also only 2 alive for Singapore, although Eternal will just respawn.
What a play. Yon finds the knock-up over the back of the Baron wall, gets the kill, but then Artemis uses both summoners, finds the counter kill, taking down his opponent. Huge plays here. All right, this is how it all Borman walked into the brush. Ari Kellic lying, waiting there. Really nice trap that he had set, and they were able to 100% the Kindred there. Then there's Yon over the top of the wall, able to get the knock up onto Mature and force the flash. Then he gets a big crit, tries to go all in, but the ultimate from Artemis and burning his flash afterwards let him get out. Puppy K then found the counter kill here, but he does lose his life. And it is still 45 minutes full of action.
Singapore are 10,000 gold ahead, but at this point of the game, it's not really going to matter. Everyone is stacked up. Almost everyone is full build. And the story remains the same, Kobe. Yon versus Artemis, the unkillable, it feels like at this stage of the game.
Hey, they killed him 6 times. We can see it right there.
Not enough when it's starting to matter, it feels
Apparently.
like. They got that crucial team fight to almost push themselves over the edge and take the game win. But he needs to die one last time.
Bunch of hero plays coming out from both sides. Here we go with another Baron empowered push for Singapore as Vietnam try and extend the game.
Ari Kellic, smart stuff, just accompanying these minions in. Oh, this could be triple super Baron empowered up waves. Vietnam are basically being asked to defend so much pressure here as Artemis eats a massive chunk of poke.
Yeah, he's trying to put out the damage, but a huge, huge answer there from Ari Kellic as the burst does come through. As you said, a lot of the work here for Singapore will be done by the minions as the Baron buff plus super minions are going to slowly mounted pressure.
Vietnam notice they have to go. Artemis still playing aggressive and forward, dodging every skill shot. The bindings of tornadoes. Eternal goes in again. There's the Galio. They're going to try and kite around it though. No knock-ups to Ari Kellic in the front side. Artemis still moving around all the skill shots. He wants to try and get the kill. Ari Kellic though could be dead. One crit takes him down. Eternal who has to go back in again with the blade call. That's good. Everyone resurrecting from the Guardian Angels with the land respite. Keep them alive. Artemis though still the target. Last breath is there, but he resurrects, I believe. Still up and available. Yoon needs to be the hero, but it's not going to be enough. That's actually an ace in the base. Vietnam hold on to the game.
Are you kidding me? Vietnam defend inside the ruins of their base and find the ace here on Singapore. What huge play. Artemis stands tall once again. He is able to cut them down.
And Foreman, he's trying to defend, but he might even die to these supers. One more hit would have taken his life. Inhib dies in top side. Still supers pushing in. Vietnam are trying to bust down an inhibitor tower. I don't think they can end the game from this point.
What an insane game. The Singapore minions doing a lot of work for them. Still inside the base.
Do
Artemis
they dare?
and High.
They do dare.
There's 10 seconds left on Ari Kellic. He'll be the first one to respawn, but they're not going to let him happen.
The duel inside, they do it high. Why don't you alter yourself? He already burnt the cooldown. He's trying to take it up, that's why. Look at the blast play. The Nexus exposed. Vietnam. Oh my God. They somehow come back from the brink of death and take the series. Unbelievable ending to that game, Kobe.
Insane resilience from the Vietnamese team, defending over and over inside their base here, showing poise on stage, even when so far down, faced with Huge performances by Yone, by Ari Kellick on the Galio, the Yasuo, making big plays for the team, but it is just not enough as Vietnam are able to move on to the finals here with a 2-0 victory.
They will be playing up against Team Malaysia, and the brink it was, Kobe. That is close to the single most impossible push to fight off in League of Legends. Yet Vietnam will take a bow, and they deserve it. The local crowd showing up despite their team unfortunately falling down in the semi-finals, but that's the pride here in the Southeast Asia region. People, they just love good League of Legends, and that was bloody good League of Legends.
I mean, regardless, Yone, his goal was to prove his Yasuo on stage here in front of fans. He has done that, but Vietnam, and especially Artemis, you have to give props and recognition there. Such tenacity, just for 20 minutes it felt like, with their backs against the wall, multiple Barons being taken, they still found the defense.
I would love to know when his last death was in that game, because you said it, he died 6 times. He died 2 times at least in the early stages of the game. I feel like that final death was the one that Singapore needed, and he just never gave it away.
Yeah, he constantly was looking for offensive pressure to utilize. Even though they're behind, he's going for chunks on enemy champions to try and make Singapore, play a little bit further back and not push that advantage. And it was just because of those openings that he created that they were able to find that defense. Again, a lot of the shot calling as well. Him moving down the mid lane, trying to take out those turrets when Singapore were on the Baron, gave them that opening back into this game. Really well played by both teams this time around, honestly. In Singapore, such a good early fight given by them. Definitely racking up quite a big number of kills.
It's going to be a heartbreaking loss, obviously, for the local team. Always is when you bow out of a tournament. But Vietnam, they deserve.
They went out with some fireworks.
They certainly did, proving a lot here on such a big stage and looking good. But for Vietnam, they're going to be moving forward. And it is good to see them, despite how dominant they have been in the tournament, picking up a fast win and then picking up a real slow win. That has to be their longest game of the tournament. That might be even double their average game time or something. Like, that does not normally happen. Singapore, so much credit for the fight they put up there.
Yeah, they definitely pushed them to the brink here. So we are going to have the finals between Malaysia and Vietnam tomorrow. But coming up very shortly will be CL and the concert portion of Hyperplay.
This game's great. You just say the name and everyone starts cheering. Also an interview coming up on stage in a short moment as well, but we'll stay with us for a little bit.
Give them some time to recover after that game. A little bit of time to cool off, as that was an incredibly intense one, especially even for you, Pastry.
I'm gonna
Keeping
make
up
it.
well done, sir.
I'm going to make it. Sometime it's going to be okay, everyone. It's going to be just fine. Have a night still to rest for tomorrow. Going to make sure to line up for the other semifinals, and I'll probably lose my voice cheering at the concert at the end of the night by all things said and done. Hopefully, I make it back to LA with my voice intact.
Yeah, definitely going to have an easy flight. No problem. Meanwhile, though, have to go over once again the outplays here that we're able to create. I actually want to recall some of the replays from this game, but there were so many in such a long game. The outplays there from Yone on Yasuo. Good attempts, though, as far as him setting up a lot of his own knockups as well. It wasn't always the 1-2 with, Xin Sao or the Galio into the last breath. Almost ready on stage as they finished it up.
Well, it looks like your timing's pretty good there, Kobe, because for more on that huge win, let's step on stage where Hanley and Clement are standing by with one of your Hyperplay finalists.
Thank you, Pastry Time. That's right, we are here with Vorman. First of all, Vietnam, wow, that's a major win. Congratulations. How are you feeling after that?
Em cảm thấy rất là tuyệt vời và rất là vui sướng ạ.
He feel very great and he feel so much happy right now.
Foreman, I would like to ask you about your last game against Singapore, because that was such a nail-biter. There were a couple mistakes early on, but how did you guys have that tenacity to come back? What was the key moment for you to win this series?
Anh muốn hỏi em là làm thế nào để em quay trở lại được sau một cái chiến thắng. Anh ấy muốn hỏi em là làm thế nào để em quay lại được sau một cái trận đấu mà có thể nói là rất khó khăn ở giai đoạn ban đầu, và để về sau đâu là cái chìa khóa để cho team em quay trở lại?
Tại vì đầu game team em muốn chủ động farm để đội hình của bọn em là late game sẽ rất mạnh, mà tại đầu game đánh hơi lỗi nên có bị dẫn trước, mà team em luôn cổ vũ nhau là cố lên, tụi mình sắp win rồi, đội hình mình mạnh về cuối game không sao hết, bọn em đã lật ngược được.
So basically, our team is the late team. So we just want to farm in the early, but the early we had so many mistakes. So we cheering each other. We can do it. We can beat them at the late game. So we keep remind on your mind. So we made it.
That's definitely that Vietnamese unity coming in here. Congratulations so much on your win. I want to ask you about your pick of choice, the Kindred. You did say in the pregame show that you would play this champion every single chance you got. And you today were able to win against Singapore on Kindred. Can you tell us why you love her so much?
Anh ấy muốn hỏi em là ở trong cái phần phỏng vấn thì em có nói đấy là em sẽ pick Kindred kể cả trong bất kỳ trường hợp, trừ phi là nó bị cấm hoặc là đối phương chọn thôi. Thì ngày hôm nay thì em đã giành chiến thắng trước Singapore và chơi Kindred rồi. Thì em cảm thấy như thế nào khi được sử dụng Kindred trong ngày hôm nay?
Em cảm thấy rất là vui ạ, tại vì Kindred là vị tướng em yêu thích, mà em được sử dụng nó để chiến thắng Singapore thì càng tuyệt vời hơn nữa.
He feels so happy and he has a chance to use Kindred, so he feels very happy about that.
It's definitely your lucky champion for sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have one last question because you just finished your semi-final match, but how do you now feel coming back here tomorrow to take on Malaysia?
Thì các em đã vượt qua được trận bán kết rồi, thì bây giờ em cảm giác như thế nào khi mà sẽ gặp Malaysia ngày mai ở trận chung kết?
Em cảm thấy em cảm thấy sẽ hồi hộp, bởi vì nhưng mà không có gì hết, tại vì Malaysia đã bị bọn em đánh bại 2 trận rồi.
So he feels a bit nervous, but he thinks it's okay because we take down Malaysia 2-0 in group stage.
That's right. A little nervous, but also a little confidence there. I'm feeling that. I'm liking that. Once again, congratulations, Vietnam. Why don't we give it up for Vietnam one more time? All right, we have more to get through today, but in the meantime, why don't we throw it back to you, Fish, up there at the Hyperplay Analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Hanli. Just like Bowman, you know, I like Kindred as well, but we saw there, he's not afraid of Malaysia tomorrow. 2-0 in the group stage, Vietnam is still undefeated, and they are confident going to that grand finals match.
I feel like after that game, they have nothing else to worry about, right? It feels like that was going to be their toughest game. It's the longest game of the event. It's a game that pushed them to their absolute limit, right? And they came out ahead.
But it wasn't Vietnam that started the game as strong as Singapore, because Singapore started the match with a big team fight in the mid lane, and that led to a nice goal lead for them where they're able to continue pushing fights against Vietnam, and it almost looked like that could have been enough to snowball the game, and almost was too.
Yeah, Singapore's early game was so much improved in this game as compared to game number 1. And you saw Eternal picking up the Xin putting on a much better showing, at least in the early game, to get his team rolling. And we saw them really do a great job punishing a lot of the early Vietnamese aggression as well. I mean, yeah, Vorman got his Kindred, but actually early on, he was very well contained.
He was very well contained, but we saw Eternal step up a little bit. I know, Skara, you have thoughts about Eternal's performance here because, yes, a bit better, but not quite enough. But it did allow his solo laners, especially Arakalik, to perform in this match. Yoon got his signature pick of Yasuo. They had a few solo kills here and there, and they seemed to be the ones that were carrying Singapore to try and get to that finish line.
Right, and I think Eternal's job on this team is to get his lanes ahead. And then afterwards, he takes the back position and gets carried and carries the early game. And I think that's fine to have on the team. However, he got Yon ahead this game, but Yon was never able to split push to the point where he could win the game. And that's kind of what I was waiting for the whole game.
Yeah, it's really heartbreak. I mean, is Tear of the Goddess on discount? Because seeing Singapore lose, I feel like I need to buy 6. I mean, I'm so sad. They really should have won that game. And like Skara mentioned, where was the split push? Right, Yon got really far ahead on his Yasuo, but it just felt like Singapore were, you know, a little bit scared or maybe a little bit jittery after Vietnam started to inch back a little bit. It felt like the nerves started to get to Singapore, and then they didn't execute on their split push, and it was so heartbreaking to see because they were ahead, they really were, but they didn't really know where to go from there.
Yeah, and I think you and I have had our hearts broken way too many times by Singapore at this stage at international events. It was unfortunate, and we could see it coming almost. We were really excited that Singapore were doing so well in this second match. It could potentially send us to game 3, but every single time they made a big play or were starting to make plays to try and end the game, they kept making mistake after mistake. These were the good moves coming out from Singapore, however, where we saw highlight performance from Electrifying as well as Yoon, putting up great solo performances and Eternal unlocking them slightly.
Yeah, you have to give it to the solo laners of Singapore. We talked about them all tournament long. I mean, sad that they're bowing out now, but you can see they absolutely have what it takes to go for the solo kills, go for the 1v3s. They are well accomplished in their own right, but where they fell short was executing on a team plan, and unfortunately Vietnam really took advantage of that.
And unfortunately, Vietnam had Artemis, and Artemis played out of his mind this entire series.
Oh yeah.
By far the best player throughout the whole series, and like pretty much the only reason why they won the series.
We were saying that Artemis was giving Aracolic a run for his money as best player at the tournament so far. He's the best player in the tournament.
I think he's put his stamp on it definitively now. You know, we looked at the damage scores coming out. Just to give some perspective, Arcelic and Quake, who were the top damage dealers for Singapore, did about 35 damage each. Artemis did almost 70,000. He did the job of 2 carries for his team. That is absolutely gross.
And to be honest, his team comp is built for that, right? But the biggest thing is the fact that he was willing to frontline as the AD carry. Like I said, was pivotal in this type of meta, and he did it really well and was able to get a lot of damage when it counted. Like he needed to do as much damage as 2 carries to win fights, and he did.
He did it perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, because we saw that from Zoroveki when Malaysia were able to take down Philippines in game 3. Now we're seeing it from Artemis. Volman was talking about how their team composition was built to farm up. They wanted to play through the late game. It was very shaky, and even during the mid and early game, Artemis was still making these highlight plays. We saw his outplay in the bottom lane when he was being ganked by Sinjao going for that very early gank at the bottom lane. We saw the turnarounds in the mid game where he was able to take the note after Baron was being pushed by Singapore, and even down to the final team fight where Vietnam turned it around and rushed for the Nexus.
Yeah, you could really see how hard Singapore was trying to lock this guy down, and it was just heartbreak every time he would land his, you know, ultimate, just lay down all those feathers. And then when he got his Guardian Angel, you could almost hear in the crowd this huge like, oh no. He's reached that point where how do you get onto this guy and kill him? Almost impossible, and really did a great job frontlining, knowing he had the backup, knowing he had the items to do so.
Right, and with the help of Lulu and Malzahar kind of protecting him, he was able to kind of take over the game. Yeah. Not easily, but like pretty solidly.
They had to work hard for it for sure,
absolutely.
But at the same time, he really showcased his mechanical skill and the guts to just go so forward as an AD carry. It's lovely to watch. Of course, it still really hurts to see my comrades, you know, get cut down like that, but at the same time, it's fantastic League of Legends.
And it's been history repeating itself. There's been multiple times where Singapore has gone up against Vietnam, especially in major finals, this time a semifinals match, and they've fallen short each and every single time. And it's always this very similar story. Singapore are kind of hyped up. They know that they're underdogs, but we think they can try and take it to them. Each and every time falling short to start the match, pulling it back and trying to see what they can do in the next few games, and every single time getting upset at the end.
I mean, I would say this time was a dang good effort, though, especially the game 2. Like, I definitely thought that we're going to game 3. Like, I didn't think I'd have to talk right now. And so, like, I was planning to come up here, but it's like, no, never mind.
You and Clement were doing musical chairs for a bit.
Exactly. And so, like, I think Singapore put in a great effort. And, you know, unfortunately, it ended up 0-2 for them, but it was a lot closer than the score suggests.
Which is fantastic for Vietnam because, Mark, they're still undefeated at this tournament. They're now 10-0 going into the finals of Hyperplay.
This is the scariest thing. They've played the shortest game, now they've played the longest game. What can you throw at these guys? They've already been tested so much by the Singaporean squad, and I think that's something that, you know, for us hometown fans, we should take away. We push the tournament favorites to the absolute limit, but it does mean that Malaysia, I think they should be shaking in their boots a little bit because Singapore really pushed Vietnam to the limit, and yet Vietnam was still able to pull out the W, which is very, very impressive.
It was very impressive, and with that, Vietnam are going to be heading into the grand finals of Hyperplay. Now, with semifinals close out, there's only one match to go, which is going to be tomorrow's grand final match between Vietnam as well as Malaysia. Our coverage of Hyperplay is brought to you by Clearmen. Clearmen helps you get your head in the game, and Vietnam definitely had their head in the game in Game 1 and Game 2 going into that match. Certainly hyped up and was fantastic to watch. It's going to be curious how they go up against Malaysia because, as we said earlier, Malaysia definitely a slower paced team. They like to build up their strategy a little bit a little bit slower, which Vietnam showed they can do in game 2, and they showed in game 1 they don't necessarily have to. They can play aggressive and fast if they want.
I think Vietnam wants to get into the late game even, because they think that their late game carries are better, and I think that maybe the play styles play very perfectly into the play pattern that Vietnam wants to play.
Yeah, I hope what Malaysia has learned from Singapore, though, is unlocking a bit of that mentality that Vietnam's early game pacing cannot be matched. That's not true. And with a jungle like Eternal, who we said, you know, in terms of skill proficiency, in terms of mechanics, might be a bit on the lower end, he still did a pretty good job early game matching the jungler of Vorman. And we know that Caspio, he carried the team in some of the games today. So I think Malaysia should learn very quickly from Singapore that don't be afraid of Vietnam in the early game, push them, make them work hard for the win.
Right, it works out for Malaysia as well because Caspio does play towards the bottom side of the map more than the top side of the map. He often works with Azura Veki, trying to get Veki far ahead, and we've seen that Veki can carry games as well. If potentially Malaysia work together, they could shut down that strong bot lane from Vietnam.
I think Malaysia's best bet is their jungle mid duo. I think that they're playing like at a really high level for this tournament, and I think that potentially they are one of, like, they're going to be better than the two that they're going to fight in the finals. And so I think that if I had to point out 2 players or 2 roles I think are going to take over the game, those are the 2 you should look at.
We can see if they take over the game in that grand finals tomorrow, but I want to talk about the meta a little bit more because coming into the Hyperplay Semifinals, we said that these are going to be fast games. We saw a 13-minute match in the Hyperplay group stages. Then going in today, we saw tanks being pulled out by Singapore. Eventually, it came back to a very carry-oriented meta. Do you think the meta has changed much with the semifinals being played out today?
I think what we're seeing here is teams feeling out the limits of one another, right? Singapore tried to go with something that's a bit more tank style. I wouldn't say that was just meta-wise. I think they just had a clearer plan of what they wanted to carry out game 1. But it's more about the team, right? So if Philippines actually took it slower, you could see Malaysia also adjusted a bit. They started to take things a bit slower against Vietnam. Why Singapore was even able to have such a close game 2 was because they started to play a lot faster. So now that we've had our semifinals, you know, the finalists will have had a good enough data to match each other. And I feel that really Malaysia shouldn't be afraid to play fast, play those carries, just match Vietnam. Don't be scared to do it. Yeah.
We'll have to see if they're able to do just that because yes, we saw that scaling come out. Yes, we saw the aggression come out. But do you think that these 2 teams are going to change anything in anticipation for this matchup or stick to the guns, do what works best and hope that it's better than the opponent's strategy?
I think Vietnam, for the most part, hasn't been like forced to change their style, and so they'll play what they're good at. You know, late game carries, and they'll run with it. And so it's up to Malaysia to kind of change up the pace.
Yeah, very hard to ban out Vietnam. Absolutely difficult to ban out any of these guys. They've got really strong players in every single lane. I think it'll be a lot of pressure onto our hedge as well as Caspio, that jungle and mid duo that you highlighted. If they can out-tempo Vietnam, I know I'm setting a tall task for them, but if they can do that, then that changes the flavor of the game because we go to best of 5s now, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly that. We said that Singapore could try and go toe-to-toe against Vietnam in the semifinals. Wasn't the case. Yes, game 2 looked promising, but still 2-0 for Vietnam. And it seems like you guys still think tournament favorites and definitely a tough task for KLH coming into the grand finals?
Yes, I think Vietnam very easily. It's just like they haven't had to prove that they had to play another style. What happens is they play what they're good at and then kind of just wait to see what happens and how Malaysia can adapt. In fact, I don't think they have to change stuff up for the first game because it's the best of 5. It's like, hey, prove it to us that you can change up your style before, you know, forcing it onto the other team.
Yeah, so my mistake, just to clarify, it is a best of 3, so we're still going to have very, you know, a shorter series in that sense. But that also means that the margin for error or the stakes of losing one game are that much higher, puts you on match point right away. And I think another thing that we have to give to the Vietnamese is the mechanical skill that they've shown is on another level, right? We talk about, oh, okay, the leadership, the veteran experience of Malaysia, that's going to be huge for them. But at the same time, the mechanical skill we're seeing from Artemis, Vorman on his Camille we saw in game number 1 against Singapore. I mean, these are just really high-level mechanical skill plays that in a best of 3, you could, you know, carry one game alone just from mechanics. I think that's going to be a huge selling point for Vietnam.
And something I'm still waiting for on this tournament is for top laners to kind of step up and like carry games. I think we've gotten to the point where like Yon got leads and you're just like, wow, this guy's really good. But I'm waiting for that like real hard carry impact play from the top lane, and I'm hoping to see that in the finals.
So we'll have to see what they can do going into that grand finals match. It should still be going to the Vietnam as the tournament favorites, but Malaysia definitely looking to try and cause the upset that Singapore were not able to do today in the semi-finals match. With the Vietnamese fresh out of our mind, however, I want to refresh on the Malaysian squad, and let's hear what they had to say coming into this weekend's games.
I'm Shiro and I play top lane for Team Malaysia. Hi, my name is Caspio. I'm playing jungle for Team Malaysia.
My name is RH and I play mid lane for Team Malaysia.
Hi, I'm Azura Veki and I play bot lane for Malaysia.
Hi, my name is Superior and I play support for Team Malaysia.
been expected to win all of our games in group stages, like even against Vietnam, but then their team was stronger than we expected them to be.
King of the Hill was quite kancheong, so because it's like best of one, so whoever loses then is knockout lah.
During the game, I thought we would actually lose because like we were down like 10-0 or something like that.
In the early game, it was very tough because I made a mistake.
And now we're gonna see how it goes down, and the first blood going over to Belby.
Even though I won the game against Thailand, I don't really feel happy because it's not a perfect game and too much mistake during the game.
This is gonna be, look at that extra damage.
He's got no flash. I
There's nothing.
just have no idea what Caspiel is thinking right now.
Our biggest friend on our team is our jungler, but he's a dice player, so if you roll 6, we win. If you roll 1, we lost.
On days that he performs, he like can outperform almost everyone. He shot calls for the team as well, and he leads the team really well.
MVP, or maybe Becky. I think he carried us a lot that game against Thailand.
I think the game turned around right after I hit like 2 items with Last Road, and then I realized that one of my Ziggs bomb is enough to hit like 60% of the ADC HP, and it's like, okay guys, I think we won.
Ozora Vecchi has got the superior poke with Ars Hedge. The Shock Blast coming out does so much damage onto Martin going down. There goes the ultimate.
We have much more synergy out of the game than in games. I don't know why. We are very good friends, good family.
All of us quite close.
The team's pretty like troll. They like have fun and stuff like that.
They like to make all the nonsense jokes and stuff.
Becky, our ADC, he's like the really loud one.
Shiro is a doggo memes guy. He always share doggo memes. Our jungler, he's one of the oldest teammates I have. He's like one of the smartest players in our team. And now mid lane is the captain of the team. He's the more mature one, and then he knows how to bring us for food and stuff. I love food, you know. So having someone that knows where the foods are great. Superior actually just joined us recently, and he's a 4.0 GPA people. So he's very smart. Be careful.
My team's playstyle, just make sure our jungler doesn't die by 5 minutes and we're fine.
If there's a team fight, we like to play team fight. If we can't team fight, it's because we are too behind. But even when we are too behind, sometimes we still team fight anyway. I have played a lot of international tournaments, but this is the very special one. I think it's the first time that it's such an event in Southeast Asia as well. I'm able to make some new friends and take some pictures with the new team and stuff, talk to them, and every teams have been pretty friendly, and it's quite happy and special experience for me. I'm personally quite excited to play in the indoor stadium because it's going to be such a big stage. So I'm really glad I make to the main event, I think. Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I know everyone that is here in the indoor stadium as well as everyone watching back at home is waiting for the one and only CL to hit the stage. She will be back up on the stage shortly. We'll get to that second MTV spotlight in just a bit, but I really want to touch on the Malaysian players going to this. Just fooling around when it came to the group stages. You know, they're a fun bunch of individuals, and they seem like that's how they've been playing as well, being playing as a team.
I love it. It's like a family, right? I look at a lot of the like NALCS teams that I follow. You know, it feels very business-like sometimes with franchising, but now, like, I've never seen a spotlight where instead of talking about how good your teammates are, talking about other quality, how smart they are, how mature they are. I've never once saw them say, yeah, this guy's a good player. It's like, oh no, this guy is a joker. This guy does memes. It's like, I think that's really funny, you know?
Hey, doggo memes to be specific.
Yeah. Sorry,
Not cat memes, it's doggo memes. And it's great to see because this is still a professional organization. Malaysia have 10 straight back-to-back wins in their circuit mark.
Yeah, these guys are definitely well known by many in the Singapore and Malaysian scene. Definitely household names, brand names. And of course, you know, coming into this tournament, we want to talk a little bit about what they're bringing into the finals. I really want to see that Ziggs pick, actually. You know, we saw a highlight of him saying, oh, we turned around that tiebreaker when I could throw my super mega death bomb thing. And then, well, of course, we're going to see if Becky can do something similar.
Well, with that now, we'll see them play in the grand finals tomorrow. With today's matches on the books, we'd like to thank Singtel for today's lag-free gameplay. Coming up is a performance we've all been waiting for. South Korea's baddest female in CL's MTV Spotlight is coming up next. Stay right here.
They win the team fight versus Vietnam.
Will they be able to catch up?
Metallic, three-man taunt. That could be good with the last despite maybe keeping alive Artemis. They need to get the carry alive. Oh no! Suppressor to the front side. Artemis, he's popping up. He got a triple. He's maybe going to make it 4. Yozo trying to save it. Find the last breath. Gets it done. Find the triple kill. Got the butt shield on the other. It's going to go in. The Will Yoon needs to be the hero, but it's not going to be enough. That's actually an ace in the base. Pick it up, that's why. Look at the best on play. The Nexus exposed Vietnam. Oh my God. They somehow come back from the brink of death.